Welcome everybody who just joined the Mastermind. Adrian's talking about the new Facebook lead ad that we have. And particularly, maybe you can compare it a little bit for some people that are here don't have any perspective on the ad you're used to versus this one, and maybe they're just joining via trial, so they're doing the 12 steps. How do you compare the what's your home really worth, or if someone were to buy your home, the typical seller conversion ad that we run, to this one, and not so much on which one's generating most phone numbers, but right now based on maybe your conversations?
I think that what I liked about this was, again, I think that you think that the phone numbers, in this case was relevant to me. I also added to my response to them of BombBomb video, so they get to see me. Not just the 12 mistakes, but what is it that we're trying to accomplish? And of course, the call to action. The ones with evaluation, I pull them into my website and I tag them depending on how often, when are they going to be ready to sell? Because everybody is just like curious. So you just touch base with them, and I do a personal video to each person that comes to me. So I do a BombBomb video and I say, hi, John, this is your home. I've got inspiration from everybody in this group. So this is your home. And, and I go into my spiel about, the home valuation, why I'm giving them a range, and could we set up an appointment? And sometimes they come back and they say, I'm just curious. I've had like 3 cases where people have just moved in and done some changes to the property and want to know if, because of the lack of inventory, has their property reevaluated, which is okay, because at the end of the day, they're put in a touch campaign. So I think both are valuable. I was just surprised by the 12 mistakes, because I feel those, I only got 7 emails or 11 emails. Those to me are 11 solid emails. You pick up the phone, you talk to people, they're gracious and acknowledging that you sent them information. And I think Leon has made this point in the past. You have to give them something, not just a video. If you give them something, if you share information, if you send them, I have a manual on how to prep your home for sale, etc., then you get a better response. Have I gotten any solid listings? No, but I'm on the verge of. So I'm a fan, let's just say.
You like it.
Yes.
So what have you
I like
found?
both.
And this is great, because this is a great conversation to have outside of this ad, because ultimately the downloads is given for free.
I'm a fan.
Right? And with that being said, what are you doing to reinforce that they got it? And then how are you asking for the home value or the opportunity to connect with the home value from that? Or are you going another direction? How do you initiate the conversation?
Well, for starters, I have to admit that I did the map in the beginning, but then people like kitchens. So I modified my valuation ad to be a kitchen. And that I think has gotten a good response. And, it's just touching base with people. I'm still working on what Wendy and several other of our colleagues have worked on, which is the touch situation. That takes a lot of time. But so I basically concentrate on when I get it, pick up the phone if there's a phone number, text if they don't pick up, call them several times to make sure that they do pick up, and then give them some element of value. These are some tips that you can use when you're ready to sell your home, and then ask for an appointment or ask for additional information on what the property changes have been made, remodeling, what the system age is, etc. So just to get something going with them. And most of my people, except for maybe a couple that are ready to run in about 3 months, are like out to a year, and I'm not desperate. So
yeah, no, I mean, and that's great.
Okay.
So, and with this ad right now, there is no address ask, right? So the key with this new Facebook lead ad that we're running on the seller side is that it will give you more name, phone numbers, and emails. But if we can make this connection, this synergy that could go take the best from our home seller ad and combine it with this one, now I think we can value stack, because we're giving that free giveaway that they wanted. And with that, we can value stack the home value. And so I think it's really about that connection and opportunity to ask them if they'd like that opportunity to have that value.
I also put the URL of my website in that particular ad, and the 12 mistakes ad. And so they come to my website, and when they come to my website, not only are there the resources that I want to give them, but there are other resources. You know, we blog, there's a bunch of other information, and I can track who comes back. So
perfect.
That's been
perfect.
helpful.
And Logan, if you're here, I don't know if you're listening in. I know you've got some insight on that. You've been practicing a little bit with the redirect link, given that most of you guys, if you are a full member, have the custom domain, and that custom domain that you have to run the conversion objective would be a perfect opportunity to redirect. And that's what that would be for me, the perfect synergy is provide the PDF download that was given and then redirect them there for the address submission. And now you have the full lead.
Okay.
Right. And it's not necessarily, I mean, you don't have to go in that direction. I think at least in the very minimum, your follow-up, your automations, as well as your personal follow-up could have that maybe disguised as a hyperlink and say, hey, by the way, if you wanted to, you know, go ahead and click here and I'll be working on your home value as well.
So the only reason why I redirected it to my website is because I also run Google Ads. And so to me, it's like bringing everybody to the same place. And so whatever campaign I do, I can handle it from my website and it touches everybody. Okay,
cool. And I mean, so for anybody that's wondering what we're even talking about in the first place, this is the ad right now that we're using, okay? And again, this is just in beta right now. We're literally just so there's going to be a lot of opportunities to make this even better, and that's what you know, we're doing in your workshops. But just to get an understanding of what's happening, and maybe for anybody that's looking, and as we're discussing this as a community, we'd love to hear your feedback on what you'd like to see different or what you'd like to see added that would make this funnel even better for you, both on the automation side and just the way we're following up. So here's the functionality of it. Someone's running down their Facebook newsfeed, usually on their phone. They see this ad, they click on it, and then surprise, surprise, unlike the address, email, information about their home, time frame for selling, name and phone number in that order, it's up front and it's usually auto-populated just like this. So for me, it's my email, my name, my phone number. If I click next to get that, now I'm seeing, okay, terms and conditions for Better Half Realty Group, Gentavia, Realtor. I click submit, and then I go to this place, send me the list. And in that moment, I can go look at this list right now. I can download the list if I wanted to, you know, and we're talking about giving you guys the ability to do some of your own custom branding in there, but pretty nice for the most part. So they'll be able to look at this, and you should all look through it yourself. And then they're going to have an automatic email that will send them out that as well. And I think that really is your opportunity to customize it. There is no text message at the moment, so you would have to add in a text message element to that. It's unlike the seller ad that has a drip campaign. Yeah, go ahead.
So Marcus, if you don't mind my chiming in.
Yes.
So I wanted to send like a custom, well, a bomb video to all of those leads that come in through that ad. So I guess what I wanted to ask Adrian or whoever else can chime in is what would be that straight to the point, you know, video message that you would blast out to those leads?
Well, I just did it's not even a minute. It's, I wanted to introduce myself. So today I am providing you with da, 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 et cetera, et cetera. My name is so-and-so, my brokerage is so-and-so. I hope you enjoy this, but the most important part for me is to find out, you know, are you willing to sell? I have other resources for you. So please give me a call, contact me, leave me a message. And that's it. It's like 20 seconds. And then what I did learn from you all is that you can't just put the video at the top. It's got to be in the middle of text. That's how it works. But the only other observation I have, and I think Asia is asking the same question, is why was the ad pulled several times by Facebook before it could go live? Like they went into review.
Mine went first time, no problem. So I guess
mine went to 2 reviews.
Yeah, and that's an error on Facebook's side. at the moment. So anytime that they update their like AI bot for that, you'll see these. We've seen it happen in the past. And there's actually nothing wrong with the ad. As you can see, some people launch it, no problem. And some people are getting it disapproved. So just always be tenacious. When you know that there's nothing wrong with the ad, request review. If it gets, that request doesn't go through, request again. Because oftentimes the first couple of times that you request review, it just goes right back to the bot and an actual human doesn't see it. If you keep requesting, eventually a human actually sees it. And when they check, it's not a problem.
Can I ask a couple of questions, kind of technical questions about this ad? I'm still kind of new at StreetText. I'm a full member, but I'm still kind of new. So 2 questions actually about the automation that follows the ad trigger. The first one is, as far as I know, there's only one automation sequence, the one that is pre-designed already for the home evaluation. So I understand you don't have a way of duplicating a new automation. So you have to recreate a new automation that would be specifically designed for responding to the 12 things to do, before listing your home. I tried doing that to just recreate a new automation where the first email would be, thank you for downloading my PDF, something like that, and also maybe a customized video. But when I tried to create a new automation, it really didn't give me any options other than just adding a form. So I don't know how I can create a new automation.
So there already is an automation on that. So on the ad itself, there already is one. Marcus is going to show you here. If you go into your ad section, click Edit Funnel. There's the automation. Currently, it only has one email in there, but you can add more emails. You can add more text messages, and you can even edit this email. So that's where you do it.
So yeah. How come that automation is not showing under automations?
It is.
Okay, not on my account. All I have is just the automation that's for the home evaluation. Only have one automation in there. Now I didn't check to do what you just did. I don't know whether that automation is there, but on my account, the only automation I have is the one that's pre-designed for the home evaluation.
So you have to go to your ads.
Right,
where we were, and then click Edit Funnel on that particular ad. And if there's something going on with yours, we'll have to look into your account. But there should, if you go to that specific ad you're running, that's get our top 12 things to do before you sell list, it's got to be this ad, and click Edit Funnel. It should take you right into this particular sequence. And in my mind, of course, you gotta look at it this way. This is why we do bomb webinars and all that good stuff. And essentially, what you need to do is you have to have some text context on top of the video, throw the video in the middle, and then have some, question. And if you go back to that webinar and watch it, you'll realize that it comes down to creating, number one, with that video, you're gonna want empathy. Empathy means, essentially you're thanking them, but you're acknowledging what they probably had no idea that there's a human being there on the other side. And especially with the home value style, it's just like saying, hey, you probably thought this was an instant market value, and they're like, yeah, we, in their mind, they probably think, yeah, I thought this was going to be, my home's worth this, right? Then you're going to ask, then you're going to have some value in there. Here's what I'm going to do for you, and then you leave with an ask. So it's empty, value, ask. Ask is, here's what I'd like to get from you to enable it to give you an in-depth custom evaluation. I'm talking about from the home value perspective. So similarly, I would look at this entire 12-step sequence to try to figure out something to do the same. And maybe the value is like, in addition to this list, I'd like to offer you a complimentary home value. This market is hot. The home values have, you've definitely gained the X percentage of equity over the last 6 months. I don't know, you make it up, you guys figure it out. And you're gonna wanna know right now what your home could position for in this market. Even if you aren't going to sell today, at least you know what your home is worth.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I kind of automated mine. My CRM/website has like video already incorporated in it, as well as things like automatically being able to send them postcards and that. I did the first couple automations within StreetText, but then 2 days later, my own CRM kind of takes over, and then that way I can add videos as I need. And I thought the Jennifer Salter course was really very, very amazing when it comes to the home value follow-up. So I just pretty much incorporated that, but instead of saying home value, I said seller's guide. And then I think this first or second email, I just mentioned to them that, maybe you should have the free home valuation as well, even if you're just curious type of thing. And at least the automations that I started within StreetText, and I mean, I only updated all that stuff on Saturday, but it looks like 3 or 4 people have already started responding to them. So it seems like it's too early to really tell, but at least it seems that at least I'm getting a response out of them.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, everything you do in this top of funnel solution should be all about creating conversation. It shouldn't be about trying to get the appointment. I mean, yes, we want it, but it's about really measuring your follow-up on conversations. Because if you can't get even a yes or no feedback, then something's off. Maybe the ask is too hard or too strong. Because all we're looking to do is create a conversation that can naturally lead. That's why we always call it the know, like, and trust model. You want to get them to get to know and like you, see that you're coming from contribution, that this is free, there's no obligation attached to it. And here's what you'd like to do for them, and see if you can get that started that way. So your first, yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that Jennifer recommends as well is, I guess she just, I mean, we have a Mac, so if you go into the notes section, she has like a little message that she actually goes into, if you can find them on Facebook, you can also send them a message and say, hey, I'm just checking to see if you got the seller's guide, and want to know what you think, kind of thing, just to kind of start a bit of a conversation with them.
Smart. I mean, surprise, surprise, they found you on Facebook on their own personal news feed. So why wouldn't you circle back to Facebook to try to connect? And a lot of people are like, well, I can't find them. I don't know if they're the homeowner or so forth. That's okay. What you need to do is cross-reference your information that you have there, go to tax records, pull up the homeowner's name, and then go to the advanced search of Facebook, because everybody wants to search your name, but they forget. Facebook will allow you to do a pull-down menu by location and people, so you can get in a little bit deeper to find and narrow that search.
Yeah, and some of them even have the call features. You can actually call them right on Facebook.
Why not?
Yeah.
Outside the box, for sure. I like that.
Where, it's D Summers, where is that pull down menu to identify them by location on Facebook?
Yeah, I'll show you. So when you go to Facebook and just go to your home page, start in the search feature and just type in, let's go Leon Harper, for example. So if I type in Leon Harper, obviously we're friends, so go to the top. And then if I, on the search results, there's filters, there's all posts, people. So you hit people, and then you go to city and you type in the city from where that lead came from. Right?
Perfect, that'll help.
So that's the fastest way to do it. It's not 100% perfect, but it's a great start. And you'll be surprised, right? 6 degrees of separation in many cases, you never know. There's a lot of friends of friends and all that stuff that automatically, Facebook's smart, they pull that algorithm together.
Thank you.
So I kind of working mine a little different. And I laugh, I always joke about my favorite stalker, Jennifer. She said they asked for something for a reason. So I always say, ask a yes, no question. What I've been doing on mine is my first line with them coming to them is making sure they got it in the first place. And that's just a simple yes, no question. And then this way I can say, if not, please check your spam, this and that, and I'll follow back up with you. Then what I'm doing is I've gone into since their information is complete, I go in and try to find their home address and all the information on them. And I go ahead, I pull that up, I load that into that gets loaded into my CRM. And I'm actually going to I got to cross load that into my StreetText so it's in there as well and tag them. But what I'm doing is I'm still the Google Earth is still very strong. So I do a Google Earth with the HomeBot attached to it to show them that I'm sending them something. And then what I'm doing for the long-term goal is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to take every one of those mistakes and post it once a month. I'll send out about what the mistake is, give them a little short 1 minute or less clip about what that mistake is. And then I'm also going to turn around and post that to my Facebook pages so that anyone else out there will see me saying the mistakes and they can request the 12 steps as well, so that I can generate SEO or organic traffic off of it also. So this way, HomeBot's going to hit them once a month. I'll hit them with another one, and I'll make sure that I do it like middle of the month so that they're getting one every 2 weeks, but I'm not over spamming them. And then I can go back either through HomeBot for the activity, or if I see them really in there doing something, I can follow up with them. But I'm just long-term goal. I'm not being super aggressive, just following with it. But you've got the material to work with, and I'm going to see how far I can stretch it out for just more.
That's a great idea.
That's
I did
good
the same
stuff.
thing. I took the 12 mistakes and you make 12 videos. And then you take it from there. You have material to be able to, send on different occasions and touch. The only thing I say is if this is mistake number 1. If you want all 12, you can request them. And this is mistake number 2. And if you want all 12, you can request them. That I do repurpose it just like you do.
That's an excellent opportunity to actually rethinking the automations that you have there to actually having 12 emails that can go out every week, right? You could add in an additional email every week with a video going over each mistake. Just a
I'm
thought,
sorry,
like
I
I
missed
said,
that.
you
Can
know,
someone tell me
and-
what the 12 mistakes were again?
Denise, the 12 mistakes is just the ad that we're running right now.
Oh,
The brand new seller ad that people get a free download with that ad.
oh,
And
gotcha.
you know,
Yeah, I'm having a
yes.
problem with mine. I'll talk to you about that when we meet at 1:30.
Yeah, it's a Facebook thing. We'll work through it. And what Leon was talking about, by the way, guys, and I want to see more people do this, is the Google Earth opportunity is amazing. So if you guys are using BombBomb and you're doing that first personal touch on whatever, especially on the home value, I mean, just think about it from the perspective of screen recording, because screen recording, just like I'm doing here, is basically presentation mode for you. That's why you want to use it. So it's not all about you, it's about them and their home. So if you do something like this and it like literally comes out and then you time it to where it goes right into their home just like that in the first 3 seconds, that's the GIF part. The GIF component, if you're not familiar with, is essentially 3 seconds where they go to their email and that's your presentation. They get to see it for 3 seconds before they decide if they want to click on it and hear out what you have to say. So obviously we're always looking for an open. So subject lines create open. So your subject lines, one emoji, I like their name in it. I like their address in it. This is, we're speaking about home value. And then the body of the email, again, a little bit of text context about what they're about to look at and say, hey, this is the home value that I actually worked on for you. Here's my personal take or something. And so you just click on the video below. Your home is worth X amount of dollars. And you say, find out here or something. You don't even tell them. That then they see the Google Earth as it zooms in right there for the 3 seconds. And then underneath the video, you have a quick ask a question. That would be my easy, simple formula for getting an open, getting a click on that video, a watch, maybe some sort of click or link down below to get you a link click to take them somewhere.
Marcus, how do you record the zooming in?
You just so if you go to your email, like I do most of my stuff out of my Gmail, and then I use Google Chrome personally, right? So when I go to compose as an email, there's this little power wheel down here, and when I click on it, it takes me to BombBomb, like the BombBomb pop-up, where I can do in the video, and then just underneath there's a recording, but there's a record screen, which then opens up my BombBomb screen recorder. And this BombBomb screen recorder would then allow you to start wherever you wanted. So if I wanted to start on here, on the Google Earth screen, I'm there on the bottom, and I can move myself around wherever I want to go. I can take myself out of the picture. I can switch back and forth between each mode. But this is, as soon as I click start recording down here, it'll go 3, 2, 1, and that's when you already want to have the Google Earth ready. So you want to practice a little bit with it, because if you click the Google Earth at the right time, right before you actually click record, that'll time it to where it zooms in, and that's the first image they see. So it just takes a little bit of practice, but you know, we can practice, we can all practice together. But it's a really good, fun way of, I think, creating a presentation opportunity that could be a hit for you.
And then Troy gave that other nugget to me the other week about if you're in the lower right of the screen on Google Earth and you touch the person icon, you pull it over and drop it, it'll zoom up to the house. So this way, that really personalizes it a little more. But as I do these ads, one of the big things that came up, that was brought up as a reminder last week or so in the group, was that when you take your ads, so I'm going to do it monthly, but every month I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that Facebook ad back into my Facebook page so they see that. And then I'm going to pick up with tip number 2 or 3 or 4, wherever I'm at, so it'll always be running. But I'm looking to drag more traffic across back to the Facebook page or the StreetText ad, free 99.
That's right, free 99 for sure. People forget too. I mean, when you have these ads, you should always view the ads. I mean, make it a habit. You can't do it every day, but view your ad, share your ad, view it, share it, respond to social. Social is any like, any comments. Make sure you're tracking that, because if you just let it go, this is where ads can fizzle out and die out fast, especially if they get negative comments and you're doing nothing to track that. And you're like, why did my ad just tank? Well, a lot of the times we can go look at the comments and decide that Facebook decided it was getting negative comments that you weren't responding to. And so they just basically are going to kill it. Essentially, it's going to slow down and it's going to burn your money.
Yeah.
Or you can take it into your own hands.
I found that because I did have some people saying, oh, and then they never stop emailing you and things like that. And I found that I just, sort of countered that with, I guess a fairly good response. And the people who said things like that, because we actually created a bit of a discussion in that, it seems that we've kind of gotten to know each other. And, it actually helped my ad, I think, to get even better, because I'm just getting a ton of responses just by going in there and responding and, explaining to them that, well, because some of them said, well, and then they're knocking on your door. And I said, well, this is better than knocking on your door, because we're only going to give you stuff if you're actually requesting it, as opposed to knocking on your door, so that type of thing. And again, the more you respond to them and, be reasonable with them like that, they actually stop with the negativity, and the more you're responding to them and they're responding to you, Facebook seems to be just like, I'm getting a ton of leads from my first ad that I set up, I guess, maybe 2 months ago.
The other thing with that, though, what I recommend to put them at ease, I always tell people and remind them that it only comes from you or your team. And I don't care if you're just a one person, you're a team. People like big things like that. I sit there and tell them, that we value your privacy. Unlike, a Zillow request, you're not going to get 50 Zillow, Realtor.com brokers or lenders calling you. It's just us. I put that on the table right away, because it's not just them reading it. It's anyone else coming across your post that's going to see that. So you're already putting that fear to bed, putting it to rest.
Any questions on any of that? So essentially you would go to your ads in your StreetText dashboard, click view ad, and just, especially the ones that you're continuing on, because a lot of you, when you're doing a split test, not so important, but as soon as you get past the split test into that running that ad consistently and, and moving on, that's where I would make it a habit to make just sure that you're like, this is my ad, this is the one that's performing well. Let's not only just continue to create a habit of checking in, but why not share it organically? Share it organically to your personal sphere, share it organically to groups that you're a part of. And always when you share something, throw a little context on top with a little text that says, hey, everybody, I just wanted to let you know that I'm offering a free da-da-da-da. And then share it. So now they're not like, why is this just random, home value thing being shared? So your context, your personal twist on it. Now, all of a sudden, I literally have seen people double or quadruple their lead flow doing stuff like that. But
so
what I found, oh, sorry
about that. What I was going to say was
there's a lot. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Ladies first.
Go ahead. Okay, I was just going to say that one of the things I found is there's a lot of realtors clicking on the ads, and I guess they're trying to figure out what you're doing, like, do you do this, do you do that? And I guess one of the first things I did was I went in and I just kind of manually branded this seller's tips, because a lot of them are downloading it and using it as their own and that. So that's one of the things that you might want to do is just you'd have to go into each and every one of the automation, and where there's that link for the download, you can upload it through the assets and then link it instead of the link that's currently there, you can link it to your asset.
Yes, we would love to see a tutorial video. Who's going to jump on that one?
Oh no. Okay.
And then, the other thing you do, when I get realtors coming to my site, I send them a StreetText referral link, and I don't get no more visits from them, because the minute they know you've got them, they go away from you.
So what I was going to
smart.
add was that the seller's tips ad obviously only has one email that goes out and nothing else after that. So I'm in the trial right now, so I know that the other ads, they have a sequence going out 12 months, right? So is it worth trying to build out an entire email and text sequence with this ad, or should I just move over to an ad once I pay for the full membership that has that's what I'm trying to decide here. Should I keep going with this one? Or
Logan just jumped on video, which is rare, so that means he has something to ask per se.
I'm just doing a million things in the background. I would suggest, if the ad's working and working well for you, then expand on that, right? And there's definitely ways to, if you want to get your coach to help you with that, or just jump on the next custom ad class. And maybe what we'll do is we'll spend a little bit more time on automations next week and show you how to very easily replicate the existing automations from your typical seller's funnel. We can show you how to easily schedule those in, add delays. You can make, edits and adjustments. You can build it in any fashion that you like, but if it's working, keep going with it. That's my typical, idea on that. And again, if you're coming up with new content on the emails, great, but you don't necessarily have to. We know that these are most likely home sellers. We can hit them with our typical, after submission, quick question, day 3, day 7, 10, on and on and on. And it's quite easy to get into that automation sequence and simply schedule in those existing emails.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you for that.
And one important thing for you also, I'm glad you brought this up. It isn't a 12-month automation. Right now, the longest one runs 9 months. So when you go in, I always recommend setting up the longest running run to begin with. And then if you build an ad on the back of that, the ads will continue. If you run a short campaign and it stops and you go add something to it after that, all the prior clients are not going to get anything triggered from that. So definitely pay attention to which campaign you're running. And this is where a lot of drop off comes on engagement, is campaigns stop running and a lot of the other group here doesn't have anything going out. So now your clients you're thinking they're getting something, they're not. So if you're in here today and you haven't checked your campaigns in a while, you need to make sure that if they've stopped, people that you've had stuff going out to are getting something from you, or you're both being used.
Great point.
Good stuff. Okay, well, we usually start off with shares. Anybody have some fun shares they'd like to, some wins, appointments, Deals.
I have an
Yes.
appointment. Okay.
Okay,
So
go tell us.
speaking of this amazing ad, can I share?
Yes, you may.
Oh, you gotta disable the participant.
Let me make you a co-host, and then I'll also do that. Yeah. Let me know if you can share now.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So this is the, and I totally didn't even realize it, but Julie is not on this one. I guess this is me. So when you set up your text message, because this ad doesn't have any text messages, you'll want to probably say something about Julie, but I did Wendy at LV Sweet Home. So anyway, so this went out as soon as my ad went out, and it just said, "Hi Candy, just checking to see if you got my list of 12 seller tips in your email. If not, please check your spam folder, as sometimes my emails go there. Crazy face. Thanks, Wendy with LV Sweet Homes Realty." And she said, "I did get it. I'm interested in selling my home."
What?
What? I said, "Okay, great. If you want to send me your address and what you owe, I'll send you some information first thing tomorrow morning," because it was like 11 o'clock at night. And so she sent me her address and told me how much she owed. And I verified that her email, and she said yes. And then she said, "Your agency and name." So I told her again who I was. She said, "Thanks, Wendy." I gave her a link to all my information, you know, that virtual business card that we're always talking about. So
Love it.
Have everything. And then I sent her this email, which she has opened 12 times, and basically this is just the email that I send out to people prior to meeting them for a listing appointment, because I want them to have as much information as possible. And a lot of people don't think that's a good idea because they don't want to share everything. Well, I want to share everything. I want to get it right out in the open. This is how much your home, you know, is showing, you know, your sales. This is your closing cost breakdown. Like I kind of, I do net sheets. That's why I ask them, you know, what they owe so that I can show them what they would net. And then I also do a tiered commission doc that shows them what they would net at several different price points, and the quick CMA, obviously. And then I have Listing Rocket through Ylopo, you know, stuff like that to show them all the people I'm going to be marketing to. And then a marketing package that shows them what I do for my sellers. So I sent all of that. And then it also has links for a Move Once program. And then drone video links, 3D tours, and professional photos, and then a link to my calendar. So anyway, that email went out, and I texted her the next morning, and I think it was kind of early. I said, "I hope it's not too early to text, but I just wanted to let you know that I sent you over the info I promised to your email. If you don't see it, please check your spam folder. Sometimes my emails go there. Thanks, Wendy." And she said, "Thanks, Wendy. I'll take a look." She goes, "Lots of info. Thanks." And then she said, "Do you think the market is softening?" And I said, as far as the market is right now, still super strong for sellers, but I'm not really sure how much longer that will last. You know, I don't like to be too specific about it because we're not, you know, we don't have a crystal ball. Anyway, and then I asked her if tomorrow or Wednesday afternoon is good. And she said Wednesday after 4, as long as you realize it's in normal living state. And then I said, "Haha, I won't be bringing my videographer or photographer over yet. I'll help you get ready for that. How about 4:30? And so that's today. So hopefully it'll be a win.
Wow. Wow. And that was all from you adding in that AI text, or did you do that yourself?
No, I added it into the thing.
Can you show us how you did that real quick? Can you go to that ad and then go to edit? Yeah. And take us right into exactly. So for anybody who's wondering, maybe you can actually copy and paste that same text in your in the chat feature here, so everybody can do that as a takeaway from this meeting.
Sorry, it's a little slow.
Oh, that's okay. That's amazing. That's an amazing win. So you took initiative. I mean, obviously, because you're a StreetText veteran, you added in a text message to there, and now you have an appointment today. I mean, that's awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
curious to see in Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps and one of the most competitive real estate markets in the world, what that average cost per phone number is right now with that ad.
I know it's working. It works slower when I'm on Zoom for some reason, but yeah. So I did the 3-test funnel, the split test.
Split test, yeah, there it is.
I'm down to just one because I picked out the best one, and then
that's great. So you got $6. You're basically getting $5 to $6 a phone number right now in Las Vegas.
Yes, yeah, I know, and the lead ads are so great because they always come with everything. Like
okay, now go to edit funnel.
Okay.
Okay, and then all you did was you went to add action right there underneath that email, right?
Right here. Let me.
So you go. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And show people.
So, add action, and don't forget to turn it on. Like I did all these and then I forgot to actually turn them on, and they don't work if you don't have them on.
Well, so the tag and the email is already there for you. So all you went to do is right after that email, you went to add action just underneath the bottom of it. So showing them where that is. Yep.
So
and
right
then
here, I did, I just went right here and then I switched it to text message and then select and then send message. And then I just typed it all in here with a couple emojis and clicked add events. And then I did it, hold on. I did a thing right here. See this hourglass? If you click on it, oh, I guess it didn't save. I thought I had.
It sent out immediately, but that's okay.
5 minutes after they got their thing, so
do that, continue, and then make sure to save. I think it'll automatically save. Now copy that, do a little copy paste on that.
Yeah.
And throw that into the chat feature.
I always like to do the contact first name so that you can, it kind of feels like
personal.
You're saying hi Sam or whatever. And then I went into here and I didn't put my spinning Google Earth video in here like I wanted because everybody on StreetText wanted to vomit after seeing my little video. So anyway, I still got to work on one, but I just changed a couple things, like simply let us know if you'd like this service and we can assist you. We would just need your address. I think that's all I did was add that part. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really customize it too much because I was going to drop a video in it. And anyway, but yeah, how exciting, right? And then I did get a lot of text back about thank you, I got it, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Let me know if you need help with any of that because that's what we do. And then, but this was the only appointment out of it, so not too bad. One appointment out of 11.
I love it. And you know what I'm thinking for you, Wendy, is you can add in like a day later, like as a second follow-up message text that said, hey, just wanted to check back in and let you know, in addition to that PDF list, if you'd like, we can give you a free complimentary home value as well. All we would need is your address type of thing.
Right. Yep. I know. I do need to build on.
No, you don't need to. I'm just giving you an idea, just a thought, right? To get for those people that are not acknowledging it, something to think about.
I wanted to get it set up and get it going and see how it went because I wasn't sure if I wanted, because once they come in, they go into follow-up boss too. And I didn't know if I wanted to set them up on an action plan there or just build out a funnel here. And anyway, so I didn't get very far with any of it, but it still works. So I'll take it.
So I have a question for Mark or whomever. So when you click on send message, does it send message if they give you a text, if they send you a phone number, or email if they give you an email address? And if they give you neither, does it go anywhere?
Are you talking about conversations?
Yeah, Wendy clicked on the send message as an option.
Right. So basically, if you set those stages up, if they put an email in there when they register for the PDF, which they normally put an email in there, because they want the PDF. I don't know if it's required or not. I think it is
It
required.
is. It's
Oh,
auto populate.
okay, that makes sense. Okay, for them to give you that.
Have a phone number, then the text will go out. If they don't put a phone number, the text doesn't go out.
I just wondered how you were able to get your signature to kind of, I guess, be animated.
Yeah, that is through,
You're using a GIF for your signature, aren't you?
no, Selma actually showed me this super cool, and it's called Wise Stamp. I love it. It's beautiful. And you can put all your social media stuff on there, all your little buttons, and it signs your name. Yeah, and so I basically just once I set it up in Wise Stamp, I copied it out of there and put it into your settings in StreetText under signature or profile.
So I have a question about how I guess the veterans are handling their clients or their client data, because obviously most of us have CRMs. My brokerage, we use KB Core. Are you guys pretty much working these leads all the way to closing within StreetText, or are you moving them off to your CRM at some point? So
Yeah.
What's the general consensus?
Mine are going right into my CRM because I love StreetText for the ads, but I just don't like the CRM part. It's getting a little better, but I still like Follow Up Boss better because I do everything out of there. So everybody's different. But
So at what stage are you kind of working from the CRM?
it depends which ad you're talking about. If
Okay.
the thing is they automatically go into the CRM through what is that called when you merge Follow Up?
Email parsing
Integration.
or Zapier.
Integration.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can integrate your CRM there through StreetText and Follow Up Boss, vice versa, or use Zapier to do it.
So do you have an automated campaign within your CRM?
I do. So like I said, it depends on which ad. If I'm doing the what is your home really worth ad, there's a whole funnel in StreetText that I use, but I do reach out through Follow Up Boss as well, and send, more specific stuff through there. And
Okay.
then it's still, the funnel is still active. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're not sending messages from both at the same time. At some point, you're turning off StreetText or...
No, I am definitely using both. So basically, like StreetText is going to send this out as soon as, they click on your ad. And then I have a text that goes out to them as well through StreetText. But then to personally work on their value, that I send through a template that I have in Follow Up Boss. But then on day 4, they're getting another email through StreetText from me, and day 5, and then we have HomeBot, and everything else is through StreetText on those ads. If it's a buyer ad, I kind of send them to our website. They sign up, the AI starts chatting with them and shopping with them. So, it just depends on which ad I'm running.
Okay.
But I use both systems concurrently.
Okay.
My other thing though is if you're first starting out, I would say what I do is I leave everything in StreetText. I dial back on the automation a little bit because rather than jump around 10,000 different platforms, let the StreetText do its thing. And then my deals are once they go active to where they're actively doing something, now I move them into the rest of my system because it's just like stepping them up to the next level. I've got Follow Up Boss as a backup to my Road Geeks, but I run Lion Desk because I just like the texting and all the features that it does. But I have dialed back and found that if I just stick with the StreetText and let it do its thing until they are actually ready to do something, then once you move them into the rest of your system, because you're doing your follow-ups and everything after that, it's just worked a lot better and it's less confusing.
Yeah, and Wendy and Leon both have HomeBot as well working on their behalf. So it's way better to have way too many touch points than have not enough sometimes too. So because you're just trying to stay in front of them.
Right. And my thought process is that sometimes they'll open an email from StreetText, but they won't open Follow Up Boss, but then they do open HomeBot, you know, and or BombBomb, you know, so what I mean? Like a lot of stuff ends up going to spam, but sometimes things get through on other systems. So as long as they just see something from me, that's all I want.
I
Love it.
just wondered where you got the, you know, the different things that you're sending them the first time when you send out an email?
Mhm.
If you, you know, how you created those things or, you know, I guess just what specifically they are. I know you just went through, but I don't know if you do the post.
About like all the things in the email
Yeah.
that I sent out. Yeah, so basically the CMA is done through the MLS, and it's just a one sheet pager based on what's sold in their area comparable to their home. Obviously I do say, you know, in order to the value of your home, we would have to see your home, stuff like that, so that they know that's not set in stone. I also tell them that, you know, with today's market and our low inventory, I could probably get them way more than that because it's true. So anyway, so that's just through the MLS. And then the net sheet that I use is through my lawyer's title app. If you have a title company, reach out to them, ask them for it, and then you just kind of customize it, add your profile information, and then I always ask how much they owe if they have a mortgage, because I like to give them a really good idea of what they would net, you know, after closing costs. So, and then as
Cost
far
sheet
as
that you're referring to, Wendy?
the what?
Is that a cost sheet you're referring to?
Yeah, net sheet basically goes over all their closing costs and shows them what they'll net after that.
Wendy, did you, what list did you say you did get from the title agent? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, so I use the lawyer's title app, but I know that Chicago Title also has that app, or just go to your title company and see if they have that. I mean, it's pretty cool. You could do all different kinds of net sheets through there. And I just use my phone and then I email it to myself so I could save it to their file.
So what are you calling it? A lawyer's title sheet? Is that what you called it?
It's lawyer's title is the title company.
Oh, okay, that's the title company. But what are you asking for? What report are you asking for?
Yeah, so you're asking them for an app. Do you guys have an app?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I missed it. Okay.
I just wondered, Wendy, if it might be, I guess, helpful if you're able to maybe just take a snapshot of the email that you're sending out, so we can kind of see all the things that you suggest, because it obviously seems to be quite useful.
Yeah, I certainly will.
Thank you.
Love it. And remember, you don't do that off the bat with a lead. This is after they've expressed the interest of wanting to sell. Now this is where you would send that.
Yeah, way too much work for it.
Yeah, one other thing though also is if you don't have a good title company that doesn't have a net sheet, I just use my MLS. I've got a seller net sheet in there. It's got all financial tools and stuff in there. Don't go spend money you don't have if you don't have it to spend. I always say balling on a budget. If you have the tools already inside your MLS, or even if your broker provides them, use that. And then you can move up later. The idea behind it, and I just say it like this, I would rather spend money on ads that are producing for me than going out buying toys that ain't making me no money. So look and see if you got financial tools for a net sheet or all that there. Use what you got already. It's half of us have things we aren't even using, we forgot we had, that do the very thing that we're going out buying a new tool to cover just because it's a neat new shiny button, and we don't need the shiny button. That's not the end result of what you're out here to get.
That is so true.
$3.99, right, Leon?
Yeah.
Always.
This app is free. It's just if you want to pay $9 a year, you have cooler stuff in it. So.
Yeah, Chicago Title. See, and there's the other thing also. I'm glad you said that, Wendy. A lot of these title companies and escrows are all merged together. So one of the things is don't go pay $9 for something you already paid $9 for. I use the same thing, Wendy. I've got Tycor Title and Chicago Title have the same. They're all the same. So it's like I'm not going to double up on what I do. So sometimes it's good to sit back and just do a good assessment on what you have, get your patterns down. Less is better. Keep it simple, and that way at the end of the day, you're not like with a bottle of bourbon in one hand and Tylenol in the other.
Yeah, I mean, so Leon and Wendy, what would you say for newbies are the top 2 most important integrations outside of StreetText?
HomeBot, because the words I always say is if you don't have an assistant, you are one. So at $29 a month, I've never had anything better than HomeBot. It sends a monthly touch. I can go in every day and check activity. It's working for you. You get a return on that. And BombBomb is great because you can track not only your client opens. I use it to track my emails that I'm sending to other agents, make sure my offers got opened. I'm making sure escrow and the lenders open stuff. I mean, that's another one that's like 29 bucks a month. So for basically 60 bucks a month, that's $2 a day. You can't get in and out of Starbucks like that. So if I was going to say, just do something simple, coming in the StreetText pipeline, you're already spending money on ads. You're trying to get your money back. When I get them, I throw them into HomeBot, let the HomeBot do its thing. And then BombBomb as well. And then, reward yourself as you move forward, build up. But, when you start simple, master what you have, don't overload. Because one of the things I read in the things the most in StreetText is people get so frustrated with some of the technology thing. And if they simply backed up a couple steps and worked their way into it instead of overloaded themselves with it, it'd be a better result.
Wendy, would you agree?
Yes, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to screenshot. Okay, so yes, I agree. HomeBot and BombBomb would probably be my favorite tools to integrate with StreetText, just because the screen sharing thing is like a game changer, and HomeBot is, keeping them updated on their value every month without you having to do anything. And it brings great conversation because sometimes the value sucks. And so that gives you, a chance to talk to them about it. So I love them both.
That's a good question about HomeBot.
Yes.
So thank you. I haven't tested that, but there was a couple others, and the names are escaping me right now, and which ones that I've kind of played with. And I found that the information was not accurate. And what I mean by that is, I use my own neighborhood as an example, my own house on one of them. I sold my neighbors a few months back. Perfect comp to mine, didn't even show up. And then I was using kind of across the street as a gated country club. I pulled a house in there, and the comps that showed up were all outside the gates. And I'm like, oh my God, there's like 50 houses back there that have sold. Why is there like nothing in these comps that are behind the gates? They're all outside the gates. So I kind of like this data basically sucks. So I never really even looked into HomeBot, because I'm not sending somebody some information that's nowhere near accurate.
So I'm glad you brought that up. That's another engagement point. I don't argue, I agree. When people turn around and say, hey, that value's wrong, I just come back laughing out loud. You're absolutely right, I agree. I go, but I wanted you to have a chance to see what the internet's best guess is about your home. How do you establish value for yourself if you don't give somebody something to measure against, is how I look at it. So now I'll go, well, now that I got you on the phone or I got you on email, do me a favor. And then other Jennifer Salter Kudo, I've gone away from the old redundant improvements, updates, and upgrades to improvements. So I'll say, can I ask what improvements you've done so I can sit there and tune a value that more accurately depicts your home. And then I can go ahead and send them a Google Earth video. I can go ahead and do the HomeBot update. And once you update that in HomeBot, HomeBot will now every month to digest, run off what's going there. But, when you're doing stuff online, it's a long-term nurturing process. And if they're not responding to you, I would rather have a negative response I can build off than no response at all. You're establishing the relationship. So when they disagree, like for example, other than mass uploading your data into HomeBot where it's just too much to do, if you add someone in there, tune the value right then. I've been using HomeBot for my CMAs. I tune it as soon as I put it in there and I send it. And then I can send the person a text or email saying, hey, Rick, just sent you an updated evaluation on your home. Please look at it. Let me know if you have any questions. You're going to get the engagement out of that. And then, like I said, the cool part is now I can look at the activity. I know you went and looked at it because when I look at the HomeBot thing and it tells me activity, it says Rick opened and looked at it. It tells me you opened it 10 times. When I see you jumping all over it, mission accomplished. Now, if you don't follow up and go from there, that's on you.
Yeah, and also, Stuart, I just want to add kind of what Leon's saying there is it's an opportunity for you to kind of get in front of that, right? Is if you send people, valuations there's almost, I mean, regardless of what tool you're using, the likelihood of being 100% accurate with today's, value is it's very difficult. But if you're in front of that and essentially say, look, this is what this system's going to do for you. You're going to get updated based on activity around you, yada, yada, yada. However, in order for this tool to function smoothly and properly, we need to establish an appropriate baseline. Right? It's your way to get in the door. So here's what I would like to do is I'd like to come over to a proper valuation. We can together then establish an appropriate baseline, feed that information into the system, and now it's going to update, appropriately based on the information around you. But essentially that's the way you're starting it is, hey, look, this is starting you off with the internet's best guess. If you'd like to rely on the internet's best guess, great, you've got that. But I, as a real estate professional, I don't want my clients, I don't want the people I'm helping to be dealing and working with the internet's best guess. I want to get out there, provide my professional expertise, again, help you establish the appropriate baseline. Then the system can kind of do what it does and update you, as we go.
Sure, and that makes, perfect sense. But I mean, don't you think if there's, 50 homes for sale or that have sold behind the gates, for 700,000 to $1 million or whatever, that it would at least pull some of those and not out of my neighborhood, for $250,000. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and my assumption is the tool is going to work very differently in every area based on a number of parameters, of course. So if you're seeing, particular items like that, I mean, in particular gated communities, pulling as comps, non-gated community comparables, it's less comparable than I'm sure it can probably find. So I 100% agree with you. And I would say the more that the tool is being used and everything like that in your particular area, the smarter it becomes, the more it learns, and the better access it would have. But I do absolutely hear what you're saying on that. I would just also say I'm okay with that information being slightly incorrect, and that's the antithesis how I would have used to feel about that. If I'm sending somebody a value and it's attached to my name, I want to make sure it's darn near as accurate as possible. So if it's not, right, 100%. So if I feel that it's not going to be 100% accurate, the very next message they get from me is going to be, I'm not sure if we're, if I want to rely on the internet's best guess for you, right? It's I provided you a value, but it was based on these parameters, and you even call it out, right? You're in a gated community. Unfortunately, the comparables that were pulled were not part of your gated community. So here's what I would like to do. I'd like to run you, a specific report and yada, yada, yada. It's just, you've offered some value. Now you want to stack value on top of that. I've given you something, but now I want to make it right. Right. And we kind of do the same approach with buyers. Oftentimes I'll send somebody an extensive buyers list that is far too big for what they're currently looking for. You want to know all of the available property types in Kelowna? Well, you're going to get a pretty darn big list, but I'm also following that up really quick with, hey, I just sent you a list. I went through that list myself and I realized it's quite extensive and probably way, above and beyond what you were looking for. If you could respond back to me with exactly what you're looking for, I can curate an appropriate list and then cut down on the noise in this to make sure that what you're seeing is truly, in line with what you're searching for. It's the same kind of idea and angle of overwhelming a little bit, but then coming and being that saving grace.
With the Google Earth, I actually just figured out how to do it this past weekend. And what I do is, I guess I zoom out and I just have the property address showing above the globe. And then what I do is, I start the video and then it starts to zoom in on them. And then I use the little peg band to say, here's your, let's just make sure this is your property. And then what I do is I cut to, it could be like an MLS list that you already have in another tab, where it's showing all the whole home values, let's say for the last 6 months in their neighborhood, or like, because my CRM has the market report, I just take them to that and I say, as you can see, the homes according to the internet are in your area going anywhere from 700,000 to 4.5 million. If you respond to the email or let me know when we can sit down, you could tell me a little bit more about your house, and then I can make a more customized valuation for you. And that's what I've started sending out, and hopefully, they would be responding, and then, you can, I guess, just send them additional either texts and emails on top of that.
I'll give you a nugget that you're going to like on the Google Earth. What I've started doing, so I go in first, I find the property, I do my little test run, I take my little person and I get to zoom up to the door. Then I go back and I put a different address in as my starting point. The reason I do that, like here, I can do the Safeco Field, I can do the Seattle Seahawks training camp. I take a landmark they'll know as my starting point. And by doing that, when it first comes on, in the time it takes for you to sit here and walk your way into it once it counts down and you start talking, hey, John, just wanted to send this out to you, they're looking at a landmark or something they recognize. So just like when they talk about in StreetText having a figure of the local town clock or something, water tower, wherever you want to start, while you're talking, then you go back up to Google Earth in the left corner, click on the show recent searches, hit their address, and while you're talking, it'll now leave the landmark, come zooming around, go over to their house, click the stick figure, drop it so I'm looking at the front door, and then I lead into the rest of it. And I do kind of like what you do. I have my MLS thing in the background where I'll click it, it shows their house in the MLS. If I want to, usually I'm confirming confirming 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet, yada, yada, yada thing. But that recognition figure, and Mark, I talked about it, everything's not moving bells and whistles right away. But if they see something like, whoa, hey, that's the King, that's Safeco Field, that's the state capitol. Get something for recognition to start with instead of way above, and you'll get their attention a lot quicker, and you'll hold it a lot longer.
Well, how do you get a landmark? Like, how do you start? And then I guess.
So where are you at? Where do you live?
Oh, in Brampton, Ontario.
Okay, so if you have a popular place there, you can type that address in Google Earth and it's going to take you there. And then what I do is I can zoom it or position it so it's where I want it to be. But like I said, the trick to make it, because like I say, I'm trying to keep it a minute on the video. So when I go pull up the house that I'm going to do, I go ahead and test run to make sure I got it. And because here's the thing, Google Earth ain't been everywhere. So I want to make sure I can even get the front door view of the home. I want to know what I have. Once I figure out exactly what I have on the house or the property I'm doing, now I can go search something else for the landmark I want to start from. And the cool part is, once you search something, your recent searches will stay in Google Earth. So if I turn around and up there, the downtown city hall or park or something, type that in, go there, zoom in, position it, and now you're there. And then once the video starts, as you're talking, like I say, just in the upper left, click recent searches, go ahead and click the house. Now it's going to roll all the way around, zoom you into their house. You can position it for the front view or whatever, and voila, you're done. But it doesn't take long at all. Practice it a couple of times, it gets real smooth, but I guarantee you'll hold their attention.
Okay, no, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. All right, I'll try it that way too.
And another video, Leon, example just of you doing that just for fun. Get a chance again.
I think I have one in there already. I'll load one today because I just did one the other day of a lady. I got the Seahawks training camp and it just picked right up and dropped over and went to her house. So like I said, the only thing I always say is just check to make sure Google Earth has visited their house first, so that when you get it, you already know where you're at. You're not fumbling the ball when you get there like, oh, I thought I'd have something to show you. Because if I can't quite get their house, I'll stop overhead view and I'll zoom in a little bit to get the overhead shot of the place if I cannot get the front door view of the house.
Hey, see what you did there, Leon? Not fumbling the ball. You should use that starting with the Seahawks training camp. And Wendy, you start that with the Las Vegas Raiders. Start with the Raiders stadium and say, hey, I didn't want to fumble the ball. I wanted to get your own value.
I like that. I say, hey, sit there. I don't want to fumble the ball or anything. That's saved for Sundays. And then say what I would like to do. And yeah, I'm going to try that. I'll make a video today because I got a couple to send out.
Just a thought, just an idea. Just, a biased Raiders fan over here.
Well, and then of course now the better idea you gave me is it's seasonal. So I got baseball season going as well. And if I'm doing the Marcus Willard Facebook stalking course and I go in and they're a Mariner fan, then I'll make it a baseball thing. If they're a basketball, I'll just go with what they got. But yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Smart. Awesome, guys. What a great mastermind. Any last second thoughts? One takeaway is everybody gonna go take that script that Wendy put in there and add it into your 12 steps ad right now.
Leon is.
Yeah, Leon is. Thumbs up. That's an easy takeaway. That's basically just copy paste, change your little name, right? Use the add action, delay the 5 minutes. If you need any help with that, book with your coach. but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we can make a video within seconds and put it in the group. But that's specifically for that lead ad. You know, it could end up in an appointment just like it did for Wendy, just like that. Wendy, I like the conversation you had there too. If you do get a chance, Wendy, I know you're talking on the phone. I'll ask her after. We'd love to see screenshots of that sequence of conversation. Awesome. Any last second thoughts, questions, comments?
Well, the new ad is definitely amazing because I actually, you know, ended up keeping 2 of the ads and just put it at $5 each because it seems that I don't even know how many leads I'm getting a day, but I'm getting a ton of them.
So awesome to hear. And if you're not getting the same, start over. Okay. Remember, just because it doesn't work for the first split test doesn't mean it's not going to work the second split test or the third even. I mean, I think ultimately we always got to realize that Facebook is trying to make a performance standard within 500 people reached. So you just may be missing the first 500 people right. So don't give up. Tenacity will get you far in this program.
And I guess what Troy mentioned is don't put in a city when it's asking you to put in
100%. Don't put a city. Right now, we've now defaulted an emoji there. Leave the emoji in there and just go to the next step. That's gonna, because if you put any city under here, it's gonna take away from everybody but that city, all 15 miles. And if Facebook's not showing anybody in that city, it's done. You won't be getting any performance on there.
And that's for the 12 steps ad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the home emoji.
I mean, literally, if we're seeing great results with this, the sky is going to be the limit with this type of stuff. So if you have ideas, jump into the custom ads class and we'll build it. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take those new ideas, beta test it like we did with you guys in the beginning, and then release it into a funnel template after we know there's results behind it. So everybody's going to get the byproduct of that success. So if you have any ideas based on what you're seeing right now with that 12 steps, please share it. We can build it quite fast and template it for you. We're just only going to get better here. We all rally together and brainstorm these ideas. Why don't we all win together, right? And that's just so, like, we're so used to running the seller template one way. We might find even a better way. So let's go for it to get you more phone numbers.
Catherine just asked where you can access the recorded sessions. And not only do they post the latest ones on the insider group, you can sit there and ask your coach to give you the link to go into the YouTube channel. Because if you have time and you're driving around, I sit there sometimes replay some of the old things just to give me a refresher, a memory jogger, or a lot of times so much stuff has come through that you can't process it all at once or do it all at once. So it's nice to kind of go back and look through some of the old stuff and take some of those ideas and integrate it into what you're doing now.
So easy. All you got to do is literally go to YouTube and type in StreetText and you'll find that it'll take you straight to the channel. So it's not easier than that. And then subscribe to that channel. That's the easiest thing I can tell you is go to YouTube, search StreetText, spell STREETEXT, and you'll find the channel. And then we have playlists within that channel. So if you want to go straight to watching Masterminds, boom. Want to go to conversion workshops there, right? Anything, testimonials, webinars, bomb, you name it. There's so much free information there that you can really help you if you have it, if you have any free time in your already busy lives.
Yeah, Asia had a good question too, because it pertains to setting up ads.
Let's see, Asia. If we don't put a city, won't we get leads from all over? Well, Asia, what's happening is you automatically are going to hit 15 miles anyways. So that's why we don't ever recommend in your targeting to throw in any city or town, because automatically Facebook will draw 15 miles around it. It's actually always best practice to click on the pin drop button. And when you click on the pin drop button, you choose and start with a zip code or address, and then you get really clear by opening up that map what 15 miles looks like. And you can move that around anywhere you'd like to go, but it'll always automatically throw 15 miles. So pin drop it so you can see what 15 miles looks like. That's why we used to always say with the seller ads, you actually wanted to start with the pin drop so that you could go back and develop the image map wise with that in mind. Another thing, another quick takeaway, by the way, since we're talking about Google Earth, is because Google Earth offers that 3D looking image, I would say a lot of you should be trying the What's Your Home Really Worth funnel by taking a screenshot of the 3D image panned out 15 miles as an alternative to the map. Because as you know, a lot of those maps, you have to go build it, find it in the asset section, upload it. Here's another alternative: upload a screenshot of a 15-mile 3D Google Earth image and upload it into that What's Your Home Really Worth funnel and test it. That'd be fun. Something different and unique that no one's seen yet, right? If you're trying to not be like everybody else, you know, or you can try a kitchen. You can try anything in there, but you got to test it. Great. All right, so go change that custom automation, add in the text message, and then let us know how that works for you. I want to hear the next mastermind, your next appointment, just like Wendy. Wendy, let us know how that appointment goes today.
I sure will.
And if you do get a chance, take a screenshot of the conversation you had all the way to the appointment, because I think it'd be refreshing for people just to see how organically it could go based on the way you did it. Because you literally stayed on the computer and messaged back and forth to get that appointment. So that's pretty cool to see.
I actually, hold on.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I actually did that from my phone, and you know how user-friendly StreetText is through your phone because we still don't have an app. I did it through my phone because I wasn't by a computer. So you can also do that. You just have to pull up the full website, hit conversations, and it'll show right up there.
We've tried to make it smartphone conducive, at least on the conversations piece. So it is doable if you're not out and about to go back and start responding there.
Right. Yep. Nope. It definitely worked. So
awesome.
Good
luck. Good luck. You'll be great. Thanks, guys. Great mastermind today. We'll see you soon.
Bye.